BlxckMonopoly presents Dope Dialogue. What's good? You're now tuned in to Dope Dialogue presented by BlxckMonopoly. And on this episode, we got the mogul right back again, Caryn Wright. How you feeling?
I feel great. I feel highly blessed, abundant. I just feel like really, really blessed to just be here and just be in this position to just share some advice with everybody.
For sure. Like the first one did pretty cool.
The first one was fire. The first one is fire.
Dope. I definitely appreciate the value you brought with the first one and the value I know you're gonna bring with this one.
Thank you, and I appreciate you for just giving me the platform to share my values too.
For sure. All right, let's get right into it.
Yeah.
First of all, congrats on all your wins.
Thank you.
You've been going up, and I know there's like new levels you're gonna reach. But since the the first interview, what has your role at LVRN progressed into?
So last time we talked, I was an intern, right? I think so. Yeah. So that was. Dag, has it already been like 2-3 years? So in that span, I've been, I was the assistant of the head of A&R Justice at LVRN, and working with him was really, really dope because I got to see the music industry from different perspectives. As an assistant, you are the liaison to that person, to that executive. So to see him put many hats on, like management, entrepreneur, A&R, and all these other roles that he has, it was dope to be a part of everything. And it was just dope to like understand and just learn from him that like, you can still do this, you know what I mean? Like you have 24 hours in a day, like what you gonna do with it, you know what I mean? So I got to work with some great acts. Like I got to work with Division, and I got to work with Boogie, and I got to work with Summer. But like in the Division and Boogie role, I got to see how he is as a manager, and like when's the perfect time to be hands-on, and when's the perfect time to be hands-off. When's the perfect time to like to push an artist, and when's the perfect time to like fall back. And with that, it was just like, my responsibility was to like make sure shit gets done, but understanding how to communicate with artists because everybody has a different communication style. So it was just a dope experience. And now like I'm an A&R at LVRN, so I'm using everything that I learned from the assistant position in this new role with some of my clients that I have right now.
Got you. So what's some of the duties of an A&R? Because you were an intern before, but now you've grown to this role. There's a lot more responsibility. So
yeah, I mean, it all depends though. Like I know at major labels they have like A&R admin, A&R coordinator, and just A&R. But sometimes like you have to be all three. So sometimes you have to do the admin work, which is like the paperwork, clearing the songs, making sure everybody is on the same page, negotiating splits, deals, points, all of that. The coordinator setting up studio sessions with artists and making sure like, okay, like this producer comes this day and we're gonna go to Tree Sounds or we're gonna go to Blue Room, just different studios, and just making sure that stuff happens. Or you could be an A&R and just be the one who is, I call A&Rs like curators. I explain it to people like, who do you think puts these people in the room? You know what I mean? And being an A&R is just like, I think this producer and this songwriter would go great with this artist, and let me get this engineer, because you're curating the energy in the room. And when you curate the energy in the room, you have the ability to for something to come out of that room, whether it's a song, or whether it's like just, I hate this word, but just vibes. But you're responsible for what happens in that room. So there's just different layers to being an A&R. But right now in my role, like I do all three. Like I am the coordinator, I am the admin, and I am the A&R. So it's just like, fuck it, let's have fun. Like, let's see where this goes.
For sure.
Yeah.
So with that position, how do you get people and labels and professionals in the industry to trust your perspective as an A&R? Because I'm sure just like, you know, in every artistic field, there's people who believe they can just hop right into it and do it. Like they feel like they got the ear and the eye for everything. How do you get people to
trust you?
To trust you?
I think that comes with time. I think when people see you progressing as an intern and like, yo, like you at A&R now, like let me fuck with you. You know what I mean? Like let's build and shit like that. They trust you because you've been on this journey for so long. And when you on a journey for so long and you have these peaks and valleys, they know there's something special because you didn't give up in that process. Like you just kept on going. So like my relationships with producers and artists and labels and execs and stuff like that, I just make sure that I check in. I just try to be a human being, you know what I mean? Like I feel like with A&R and just like in the music industry in general, people overlook the fact of just like humanity, you know what I mean? It doesn't always have to be transactional. Even though some shit is transactional, it doesn't have to be. But if you genuinely are a good person and be like, yo, how are you? Like, how are you really doing? And just seeing how people are and following up and taking the initiative to do those things, like you'll go far. Like there was a point in time where I felt really lost, and not in the sense of like I was depressed or anything like I was when I had the other assistant job before, but it was just like I need to put me first. Like I need to pour in my cup because I'm like pouring out of an empty cup. And I would just hit up my friends and be like, yo, like who are in the industry, and be like, yo, you want to go hiking? And we would just go hiking and just like talk about our week and just like decompress. And we would call it non-negotiable Saturdays because like nobody really doing shit on Saturdays, you know, like it was the only day like we had to like just exhale. So doing those things and just building those connections and building those bonds, it's just really special.
For sure. That connects to a question I was going to ask you later too, so we might as well just get into that one.
Yeah.
So it's no secret that networking and strong relationships are key when navigating the entertainment and music industry. What are some gems to maintaining strong personal and professional connections with your peers?
Let that ego shit go. And I gotta tell myself this too, cause like I'm like, yo, they don't remember me, like you know what I mean? And it's just like, you know, and then you see them at a party, and it's like, oh shit, I remember you. Like, how's everything going? But it's just like, be I don't want to say be cool, but just like, just be you. I think that's the most important part, is just be you. When you do have friends, it's like do the same things that you would do for your friends. Like learn how to have boundaries, be self-aware. I go to therapy, so like I go to therapy every Tuesday, and I just try to work on myself and just try to figure out how to be better, but also like work on the things that like I'm not necessarily good at, and understanding that. But when you do those things and you take those initiatives and just want to be better in yourself, and you apply that to friendships and business, things come to you effortlessly too. So I just try to like I said before, just try to be a human being and have some humanity and understand like this, not necessarily like this, but like when you in your head, you're like in your own little world and you can't really take anything personal. Once you understand you can't take things personal, then things come easier. So like if somebody doesn't text me back, or if somebody's tone is a little different, I'm just like, oh, okay. Like I don't really take it personal, because I know like maybe that person had a shitty day. Maybe that person just doesn't want to text, and that's cool, but like I'll follow up, and that's okay. So just get out of your own way, hit that person, see what's up, and like it might not happen on the time that you want it to happen, but if the person wants to hit you up, they'll hit you up. If not, like don't be caught up in that. Like, just move on and hit up the next person. Like, for every no, somebody gonna have to tell you yes. So that's just how I move. Like, if I can't get it from you, like, I don't see no roadblocks. I'm gonna get it from the next person. So I just try to move like that.
Got you.
Yeah.
Cool. So, let's get into some of the new wins you've had to your, added to your resume. Let's start off with the Summer Walker Still Over It album. Can you share your role in that project and just the experience of it?
Yeah, with Summer's album Still Over It, I was A&R admin, and I started out as an intern. So it was fun because I got to see the album be like conceived, like from scratch. So I'm in the rooms with like London and Sean and all these great people that I never thought I would be in the room with. And I'm seeing them, like, we just having conversations, and those ideas turn into like beats, and those beats turn into songs, and those songs turn into singles. So to see that like front hand, I was just like, yo, like, I'd never seen that before, you know what I mean? But also it taught me, like, yo, shit happens effortless. Like, when you have no ego in the room and you can just walk in and just have fun with it, like, that's the best, because that's when the best music comes out. You can't walk into the room and just be like, yo, I'm about to make hits. And it's like, no, like, it should be effortless. Like, you should walk in, your energy should be right. Check your energy at the door. If you worrying about some shit, let that shit go. Because right now, like, all of us have a common goal, but like, have fun. And I think that's the most important part, is to have fun, because when you don't, you put unnecessary pressure on yourself, and then it just don't be hitting like that.
For sure.
Yeah.
And it's dope that you shared that gem too, about how a lot of the songs, if not every song, comes from conversations, real emotions, real things. That's a formula you just laid out right there.
Yeah, like, even if I get caught I believe it happened with a conversation, but it's just like, you gotta talk. Like, no, like, if I say like, yo, I'm going through this, blah, 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 like, you're not the only one who has experienced that experience. Like, there's hundreds, thousands, maybe millions of people who've gone through the same shit as you. So, like, maybe you want to get that out. And maybe somebody gonna feel it. And that's how music is. Somebody gonna feel it. That's how I feel.
For sure. And that's how hits happen. You just connect with people.
Yeah, because that's what music is. You just gotta connect.
For sure. All right, so same question, but with the Division project, working on My Karma. What was your role in that, and what was the experience like?
So the role was a little different because Division is signed to OVO. So it was just like, I didn't really have to do the admin part. Like, I would write lyrics and stuff like that, but it was more on the manager side. So it was just more of like, yo, what photos you guys like? What, you have press at this amount of time. So it was more like, I don't want to call it gritty, but it was just like, just day-to-day stuff that like we needed answers on, and I was the liaison and trying to get those answers. Like, yo, you need to post this, like, you know what I mean? But also, it's going back to the music, it's handing in mixes, it's getting mix notes, and just but articulating mix notes the way that the artist says, so that the mix engineer can execute it right, which is really important. So doing those little things, it adds up, and then you're building this relationship with the artist too. So I built a relationship with Daniel and 85 to the point it's just like, oh, Caryn, cool. You know what I mean? So they know how much I work, how hard I work because I just want to see them shine. But it's just like, it's the little things that you guys wouldn't even think that matters that I'm doing. You know what I mean? Like Spotify, going in there and recreating All That Matters to Me, but then creating a ballad version of If I Get Caught, and like hearing, like watching people go crazy when If I Get Caught comes on, and seeing how they argue and how it affects their conversation and brings up conversations of just different things. So it was a blessing to just work with them, for real, for real.
Smooth.
Yeah.
And like, just to go back and touch on the Summer Walker project too, the Sierra's Prayer.
Yeah.
Talk about that a little bit before we go into the next.
So we were like low key, we were done with the album and we were doing playback sessions. And I remember we were in Blue Room in LA, and we listened to Fourth Baby Mama, and Tunde and Justice was like, yeah, that's how we gonna end it. And then I believe it was Britt. I think Britt from YouTube Music. If not, then you could just take it out. She was like, y'all can't end like that. And then it just got quiet. And then in my head, all I had was like, cause Lala just had a IG Live with Sierra, and she was like, girl, everybody want to know about this prayer. And that just popped up in my head, and I was like, you know what'd be dope? Sierra's Prayer. And my brother was in the room, Jay, and he got it right after I said that. But like their reaction, the video's on my Instagram, but the reaction was just like, yes, that's what we're gonna do. But then I didn't notice that, Cardi B's a fourth baby mama, Summer, of course, and Sierra's a fourth baby mama. So like, just that aligning itself, it was just like, oh, that shit's crazy. But then when it went I don't know if it went number one, but when it was trending on Twitter, I was just like, yo, like my idea is really trending on Twitter. So I felt really great about that moment.
Yeah, that's pretty dope. That's like, that's one of the moments where it's just unexplainable, but you're at the right place and the right time in the universe.
Yeah. And it's like, yo, I would have kept it to myself, but like something was like, nah, say that shit out loud. Like, you know what I mean? I know, we wouldn't have Sierra's Prayer. And, yeah.
So that's pretty dope. Like, you get to see it. You get to see like your value and the impact that it has.
Yeah, and it was just dope that people just was like receiving it and like playing it over and over as like affirmations and stuff, and like the memes, all of it was great.
All right, pretty smooth. All right, let's bounce back to the vision side real quick. Okay. The vision question. On your IG, I noticed you shouted out Jermaine Dupri, B. Cox, Sean Garret. Did you get to work directly with them? And if so, like, what was the experience like? What did you learn from them?
Yeah, cause like I live in Atlanta now, but like before, when I would travel to Atlanta, they were working on the music. So they were working on the music at So Def Studios, Southside, and all of them are goats. Like Jermaine a goat, B. Cox a goat, Sean Garret's a goat. JD's work ethic, crazy. Like in the studio every single day, working on something.
Is he there like certain hours, or is it like he come when he want, leave when he want?
Yeah, come when he want, leave when he want. But he probably there all day. You know what I mean? Like we will walk out 7 o'clock in the morning. He'll be right back there, like just like at night, just working. And it just showed me like, yo, like all the accolades JD has. It's just like, bro, like you ain't gotta work this hard. Sure. But it's just like when you love something, you're gonna do it every day, and it don't feel like work. So you're gonna work hard at it, and that's what that taught me. B. Cox same, like he'll be in the studio all day, work ethic crazy. Sean Garrett's work ethic is crazy, and just seeing them and just being that fly on the wall and just peeping like little things, you know what I mean? Like, and seeing them like just interact. Like I love sociology and I love psychology, and I love seeing how people work with other people and like how their relationships are with other people. So to bring those moments out of the artist and seeing the producer artist dynamic and see what comes from it is crazy. but also like bridging the gap between old school and new school too. It's crazy too, because it's just like you think there's a lot of people that think that the older generation is not really receptive to the newer generation, and it's just like the older generation, some of the older generation wants to be receptive to the newer generation and just help guide them, and the newer generation just got to be receptive to that too. So it's like a give and take situation, but to see them three work together was incredible.
For sure, that's an iconic moment within itself.
Yeah, because it's just like, yo, like you gotta think, like, I watched Making the Band, like I've wanted to do this since I was 13. When I was 13, Making the Band was out, like top show. So to see, and I remember like sitting at home and being like, I want to do that, but not knowing like how I'm gonna do it. So to be in the room with these people that help shape who I am, like not on purpose, but like indirectly, and to like be in front of them, not every day, but like certain times, it's just like, yo, like this shit is surreal, like this shit ain't normal, but like, you know what I mean? Like you really turn nothing into something, and you're seeing how they work, and you understand why they are going and why they are who they are, and yeah, and they deserve their flowers.
For sure, and it's like it's an exchange of energy, like from like what you said about wanting to be there when you were 13 years old, and now they know your name, they know you connect with them. Like it's that right there is more of an affirmation.
I'm making my 13-year-old self proud. Like sure. I don't like. Niggas do it for money, niggas do it for clout, but I do this shit for my 13-year-old self, because like that's the person that really wanted this shit bad, and I really want this shit bad, but I do it for my younger self, because like I didn't know like this was all possible. For sure. You know what I mean? So to see JD, to see Sean, to see B Cox, like to work with these guys day in, day out, and still come out with some great shit, like it's priceless.
For sure, I could only imagine. That's pretty wild.
Yeah.
You mentioned one thing before, like what was one gem that you soaked up from them and how they bring out the best in artists?
Communication is key. I think communication is the best part, but like work ethic is too. When you can communicate and just like let people know, you're good. Like everybody got to be on the same page. You're good. Sometimes you got to be like, yo, stop overthinking. You know what I mean? Just like communicating that, because people go crazy. Artists go crazy. They have demoitis. They want to change shit. They're perfectionists. But then just seeing them work day in and day out and still getting it after years and years of just accolades. Like Sean has hella number ones. JD has diamonds, like, you know what I mean? Like these are Diamond Award winning producers, songwriters, all of that, and legends, GOATs, greatest of all time. So, and they still getting it, like they in their 20s.
For sure, that's pretty cool. So one more, like, well, we can go on with your resume, but like one more dope thing I seen, congrats to your background vocals on Westside Boogie's song "Aight." Like, how did that come about, and how did you guys connect?
Well, I love Boogie. I love Boogie a lot. Boogie is like, before LVRN, Boogie is my favorite rapper. Like I remember I almost died one day. It was the day that Everything for Sale came out. I was picking up my friend Shawnee from the airport, and like, it's like weird section, and I was just playing it on repeat, and I was just in the zone, and I think I ran a red light or some shit like that and almost died. But like Boogie is my favorite rapper, so I remember it's like 2 years ago. He was working on the album. We went in the studio. I got there late because I had to pick up my best friend Jazz from the airport, so I got there late. I walk in, KB, Kayla, Jess, Davon was in the room, and Justice was in the room with Damo, and Boogie's working on Aight. So Justice is like, okay, but it needs like a call and response. It needs like a chant or something. So Boogie's like walking around the room and he's like, I like chicken. So he's just like doing like the melody of it. And then he starts just putting words to it. So I'm like, I like chicken, is that right? And I'm like, okay, cool. So I'm just like chilling. And then he finally goes, he's like, I like chicken on hoes that bring me more hoes that act right. So then it's like, okay, cool. Like it should be a girl voice. So Justice was like, all right, KB, you get on. KB was nervous. I was like, fuck. It felt like Hustle and Flow when Taraji started singing, and he was like, sing that shit. You know what I mean? Like I had that in my head, like, push that shit out.
That's a funny moment.
Yeah, so I'm just looking like, okay, cool. So she does it, and like KB from the DMV, she from DC, so she got like that act right. So I'm like, yo, she killing it, like that act right crazy. So then they're like, okay, cool. But then they were trying to layer it, so they got Jess, but Jess's voice was too like soft. So then I get up, but in my head I'm just like, damn, why the fuck they not asking me? Like, what do you mean? Like, I'm a girl. Like, what do you mean you're not asking me? Like, you know what I mean? So I get up and I pass the mic. And Damo was like, oh shit, I thought you was gonna get on the mic. I mean, I was like, I can't, I'll kill it though. And then like, I had to go to the bathroom really bad. And it was like, okay, shit, like you say you gonna kill it, then do it. So I get it, and then my legs start shaking. And I'm like, oh shit, I'm nervous. Cause yeah. So then the song come on, and I'm like, I like chicken, but I'm like trying to imitate KB, but like, still like be me though. So I'm like, I like chicken on hoes and baby more hoes that act right. And they was like, that's what I'm fucking talking about. I was like, yeah. So then that's when me and KB went out, like we got done. We was like so happy to like do it, because we was like, oh shit, like we on a song with Boog. So from being like somebody who was bumping everything for sale every single day, like LOL, SMH was my shit. All of it, like, it came out in a pivotal time where like I needed to hear those things. To be on a Boogie single and be the intro and with Shelly was just super, super dope. Didn't know I needed that on my bucket list, but I will take that.
That's pretty crazy. That's the universe showing you that you're like right where you're supposed to be.
Yeah.
For sure. All right, so yeah, that's pretty cool. Let's move on to this question. You helped LVRN produce a radio show on Sirius XM.
Yeah.
What led you onto that path, and what did you learn from that experience?
Yeah, so like as an assistant, sometimes you just get thrown into shit. And it's cool because like me being the person that I am, I'm always with the shits. Like I'm where the wind blows. So I got to produce this show with Bryce and Rayhan and Tyler. And every week we would have a talent show where we get to put artists, unsigned artists or artists that are just coming up in a position to play their music on the radio station, or like a talent show wise, just like audition so that their song could be played. But also like when I was in college, when I was younger, I always wanted to be like Angie Martinez, like on air and shit like that. So to see it from a producer perspective of just like coming up with shows and coming up with questions and like, what do we want the music to sound like, and all these little things that people don't consider when they're listening to the radio station. It's just like, yo, it was a dope experience.
Got you. And that also goes into like, for what you said, like you were always open to try these new things. Like you with the shit. So like that shows your peers and the people you're working with, like, all right, we can depend on you.
Yeah. And I feel like when I'm a person that likes to move, like if you not like if you like it, I love it, but it's like I'll at least try one thing twice. I'll at least try something once, and see if I like it. And when I try that thing, I can say that I did it, and yeah, it's gaining that experience. So like when the next opportunity comes, it's just like, all right, cool. Like I could do this, and just learning the ins and outs of it. Because now, like when I do a record or when I'm promoting a record and I go to a radio station, I have another respect for that producer that's producing the show. I have respect for the engineer that's editing the show. I have a respect for the host that's delivering the show. So it's just like I understand what everybody's role is. And I think that's important because, like I said before, when you get inside your head, you think it's just you and you're in your own little world. But you understand that there's more to it, and you understand, like, okay, this is what it takes to make it work. And it's just like it's more to it. And once you realize that it's more to it, then you can even grow more. So like I'm trying to have like infinity stones like Thanos to understand like, okay, this is how the music industry works. I can get it from a management perspective. I can get it from a radio perspective. I can get it from an A&R perspective. I can get it from an executive perspective. But at the end of the day, I know what everybody's role is, and I have that respect for them because I know what it takes to make it.
For sure. So that's pretty cool. And so through all the different hats you've been thrown into wearing, it's giving you those pieces to the puzzle that allow you to see it from a whole different perspective.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
That ties in perfectly with this question. So like now that you're actually in the game, you're on the court, you're on the field, you're seeing things move at a different speed. What are some new skills you learned that are necessary to have in order for you to become the mogul that you see yourself as?
Have a routine. Every person who is great has a routine. I'm still developing my routine because I'm going through this transitional period of just like getting used to Atlanta. But eating well, like it's like little things that people take. It's not like they take advantage of it, but they don't really like pay attention to. Like we talked about this. When you look good, you feel good. Your mind is good. So like I just try to control the things that I can control, and I understand that some things might come up that I can't control, but like I love consistency. I'm self-aware about myself. I love consistency, so I like waking up at the same time every morning. I love going to the gym. I love feeling good. I love being strong. I love reading books. I love finishing books. I love getting knowledge from the books that I'm reading. I love meditating. I like having a clear head. I don't like when I'm all in my head or if it's fuzzy and I'm just like, blah. It's like that don't work for me. Like I love the consistency helps me be great. And like when you have that consistency and you have that routine down, nobody can fuck with your routine because you do it every day. And that's the thing that you can control. But like when you realize like, man, such and like when we talk about like, when I say you can't control, like you can't like the being out of your head and realizing that everybody is going through their own shit, you can't control that. So when those things come up, it's just like, man, it's okay. We'll circle back like next week or we'll circle back tomorrow. You could still move on and you can do those things that you just did and be like, but I worked out, I showered, I read my chapters, I meditated, and you did 4 things that are just major to your life. And when you do those things every day, you're just like, yo, it's growth. Shit don't really be getting me off. Like, in the sense of, like, I don't really get mad at shit because, like, fuck I need to be mad for. Like, I'm not about to put that energy out. But doing these things have opened up doors for me that can't even imagine and still are opening up doors for me because, like, it's the things that I can control.
For sure. And it helped ground you, like you said, like having that routine and accomplishing those things every day. It just makes you feel like you're moving. Yeah,
like I make sure that I go to therapy every week. Like I invest in my health. I invest in my mental health. I invest in my health. I invest in my knowledge, and just understanding that these things aren't an investment. Like sometimes, like, yeah, I'm a big sneakerhead. I'll buy the fuck out of some sneakers. But I also know, like, yo, like, I want to get better at money management. I want to do these things and understand, like, yo, like, you have to take the step to do that. And
sure.
That's something that you can control. So it's just being open to it and just taking yourself seriously. Like, go for it. Like, you have the ability to do whatever you want in the world, but you can't make excuses for shit that you can control.
For sure.
And people make excuses for that, like for things that they can control, and they blame it on other people. But when you take that and you're just like, you know what, I'm tired of this shit. Like, you know what's best for you already.
Got you.
Yeah.
All right then. So aside from your A&R career, you also have your baby, Rhythm and Blunts.
Yeah.
For those who aren't hip, could you give them a quick breakdown on what Rhythm and Blunts is?
So Rhythm and Blunts is a playlist that help highlight people from the past, present, and soon to be artists of this generation. Like, my goal, like we talk about, like with mental health and just like getting out of your own way, the way that Rhythm and Blunts came about is because I was really, really sad. I was really depressed, and I wanted to play some music that reminded me that I'm the shit. And each episode that I have, I forgot how many episodes I have, honestly, but it reminds you that you the shit in a way. So you got an hour to listen to this. It's specifically an hour because it's just like, we not about to spend, like, we not gonna give this, like, I'll take a day to cry. Like, I'll take a day to, like, be sad. But, like, we not gonna spend more than a day or a week. And right now, like, we not gonna spend more than an hour to, like, remind ourselves of who we are, because at the end of the hour, it's gonna be a mood changer. So I just try to do, I do Rhythm and Blunts just to not only remind myself, but to remind people, like, yo, it's okay. Like, do you know who you are?
For sure.
Yeah.
Cool. So then, with your recent wins, experiences, and your growth, has that reshaped what you originally envisioned Rhythm and Blunts to be?
Yes and no. I feel like I want Rhythm and Blunts to be so much more. I want it to be a staple in the culture, but I also know it's going to take time. And I know that I have to make these strides in my career so I'm able to bring up Rhythm and Blunts. But I want to collaborate with people on Rhythm and Blunts. Like, I want it to not necessarily be a network, but I want it to be like an outlet of just where people can enjoy themselves, whether it's like party or like interview series or just like highlighting artists that are up and coming. I just want it to be a network of just those things that I enjoy doing. And I always enjoy, like, I think the one thing about me that, I know the one thing about me is just like, I always want to put people on. And especially like when I really fuck with your music, it's just like, yo, I fuck with you. Let me put you on Rhythm and Blunts and let's see how that turns out. But like, it's no greater feeling than to just put people on and see how other people receive it too.
Got you.
Yeah.
And also too, like, a lot of the songs in my playlist come from like the Rhythm and Blunts playlist.
Appreciate
Sure,
you.
yeah. I remember you put me on Larry June too, and I listen to Larry June every day.
Faithfully.
Like, for sure.
Good job, Larry.
Hey. All right, so like, let me see. All right, I'm trying to think of one last question before we get out of here.
Big bet.
Is there anything you want to say, anything that you want to share that you've learned along your journey so far? Like anything random, anything?
I think I've been struggling recently because I've been having my head down for so long that I didn't like realize how far I've come. And I appreciate you because this gives me an opportunity to look back on things that I've just like been having my head down, if that makes any sense.
No, for
So
sure.
it's just like when you have your head down for so long, you don't realize how far you've come. And just realizing like the growth is really, really special, because like sometimes I do get lost and not understand like, yo, like the compliments are cool, and it's not no it's not that I don't like receiving them or anything. It's just that, like I said, I be in my head, and it's just like there's a part of me that's just like, you got to go harder, you know what I mean? And like to just sit down here and to reflect, I just really needed to do that, and I appreciate you for giving me this platform to do that and be able to like not only like give advice to up and coming executives and artists and managers and all those other things, but to like sit here and really think about like, damn, like I've really came far since the last time we talked. So I really appreciate you, Biz.
Shoot, no problem. I definitely appreciate you too. Like, just seeing your journey inspires me for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And
because
like,
we've been friends for a minute.
For sure.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's crazy to see the growth and the trajectory. Mm-hmm. And also it makes me excited for like the next episodes of this we do, because I definitely want to link up for a part 3. And I know you're going to have so much more to talk about, share, and so much more value to give the world, that it's exciting to think about.
Thank you.
For sure.
I appreciate you.
Got you, for sure. Yeah. All right, we're going to skate out. One more question.
All right.
What are some things on your bucket list? Like, what do you want to accomplish this year in 2023?
Career-wise or personal-wise? Because career-wise, I feel like I was talking to somebody about this. It's like, it's not like I've been through so much shit, like, you know what I mean? Like, but I've been through so many things that it's just like, I never imagined being on a song. I never like, even with like Alex Vaughn, like, listen to The Hurt Book, go see Alex Vaughn, open up for Ari Lennox, sold out tour, do it. But like, I'm even on the skit for Demon Time. So it's just like, I never imagined doing these things. And it's not necessarily like I don't have goals or anything, but like, I don't really, like, I want to break artists and I want to sign the biggest artists and do all these things. But like, I'll just wake up every day and just be present. And like, not saying like, don't go get it, because I do go get it every day, but like, it's gonna happen. So I don't really try to put that pressure on myself to like do it. You know what I mean? Does that make any sense? For sure. So I don't really have goals, but I just, like I said before, I work with the best in the business. Money flows to me effortlessly. Opportunities come to me effortlessly. My talents and skills take me around the world. My name is being mentioned in rooms that I haven't stepped foot in. And I just like say those affirmations, and even more like, I'm a millionaire, I'm a music mogul. I say those things and just let the universe do its job. And like, I'm okay with that. Because I know it's gonna happen, because whatever I want, I get.
And you're living proof of that too. So that's what makes it so dope. Like, I like that answer, because a lot of us, we fixated on like, all right, what are these goals? Like we write these things down and we feel like we gotta hit these targets. Yeah. But more so, it's more like, we gotta be open to the opportunities and the experiences that present themselves, because that's gonna give us things we never even knew we wanted. Yeah, I work with the best in the business. I'm working on Grammy award-winning projects. You know what I mean? Like, for sure. I say those things consistently in my head, because like, it's not my job to figure out how it happens, but it's my job to be aware when those opportunities happen, to peep it and then just to go and do it. You know what I mean? Sometimes the blessing is right in front of you and you don't even see it, and you miss out on something. But like, when you're alert and when you're intentional with everything that you do, it's just like, it's gonna come. For sure. Yeah. All right, smooth. That was dope. Like, I appreciate you coming, giving like yourself, your energy, the value you brought today. It's inspiring. I know I'm inspired. I know it's going to inspire whoever hears it. And
Appreciate you.
I'm excited to see your continued growth.
Thank you.
Like I
Thank
know
you
you
so
going.
much.
I see you as the mogul already. So it's dope to like be able to document part of your journey.
Thank you. And you know how I feel.
For sure.
Yeah. For everybody who comes up to me randomly and I'm just like, what the hell? Like, I'm sorry I look like that, but like, you guys are incredible. Just sliding in my DMs and just letting me know like how much the first part like really affected your life and like everything. Even my dad was just like, yo, like you have a YouTube? Like, you know what I mean? I didn't even tell him. So like, I'm just happy that you gave me this platform for real.
Nah, for sure. Dope having you on. Anything,
Thanks.
any last words you want to say? Any parting words you want to say?
Be great.
For sure.
Yeah.
Let people know where to follow you.
So you can follow me at Caryn_Wright. Don't spell Karen like Karen. You know what I mean? Like CARYN_WRIGHT. And you can find me there, and it's on all platforms and stuff like that. Hit me up. I check my DMs, but like I said, like timing is everything. So I'll answer back eventually, but I'll answer back.
Gotcha. All right, y'all heard what the legend said. Be great.
Yeah.
And with that, we out. BlxckMonopoly, dope dialogue.
Let's get it.
Aye.